Chapter 4 The Fracture Point. The bunker door groaned behind me as I stepped back into the swamp. For a moment, the world felt too quiet, like the mist itself was holding its breath. The message on the terminal still echoed in my skull. You helped build the core. You caused the first reset. Didn't want to believe it. But the world, the echoes, the fragments, they weren't lying. Took a slow breath, letting the cold swamp air burn my lungs. Recover memory fragments, I muttered. Right, like that's gonna be easy. The mist swirled around my boots, curling like smoke. The swamp hummed faintly. Not the same hum as the chrono wells, not the same vibration as the resets. This was softer, more subtle, like a heartbeat buried under mud. I scanned the area. The mere titan was gone. The violet, the violet orb was gone, and the echoes were silent. But the swamp wasn't empty. The world never stayed empty for long, it seemed. I moved cautiously, stepping over twisted roots, patches of glowing fungus, and the air felt heavier than before, charged with static, and my skin prickled. My vision blurred at the edges, and the interface flickered. Code, temporal layer stable, stability 54%, chrono energy 61, core integrity 89%, directive, recover memory fragments. I kept walking. The swamp shifted around me, the mist thickening, the trees bending inward, the water rippling even without movement. It felt like the world was guiding me, or watching me, or both. A faint glow appeared ahead. Not blue, not violet. White this time. Pure, bright white. I slowed. The glow pulsing softly, illuminating a cluster of trees twisted into an archway. The air beneath the arch shimmered like heat waves. A portal, a fracture, a memory? I stepped closer, the interface glitching violently. Code, warning, temporal fracture detected. Classification, memory rift. Stability impact severe. Proceed with caution. A memory rift. The first one I've ever seen. I tightened my grip on the shard. Okay, I whispered. Show me. I stepped through. The world shattered. Light exploded around me, blinding and cold, and my body felt weightless, suspended in a void of swirling white light. Echoes, voices echoed, distant, overlapping, impossible to understand. And then the light dimmed, and I was standing in a room, a real room, metal walls, bright lights, a humming machine in the center, and a massive sphere of glass and steel pulsing with blue energy. The core, and my breath caught. People moved around it, scientists, technicians, all wearing the same uniform. Their faces were blurred, like smeared paint, their voices muffled. But one figure stood out, a man at the console. Tall, dark hair, focused expression. I stepped closer. He turned slightly, and my heart stopped. It was me. Not exactly me, more of a young, sharper, more confident, but still mistakenly me. I staggered. No, no, this can't. The younger me spoke, his voice clear despite the distortion. Stability is dropping. We need to initiate the failsafe. Another voice answered, a woman's voice, calm but strained. If we trigger it now, the entire layer collapses. Younger me slapped a hand on the console. It's already collapsing, and we don't have a choice now. The core pulsed violently, cracking of light spreading across its surface, and the room shook. Alarms blared, and the woman grabbed my younger self's arm. Jax, listen to me. The memory glitched. The room flickered, and the core exploded into a burst of white light. I threw my arms up, bracing for an impact, but the light passed through me, and the room dissolved. The swamp snapped back into place. I fell to my knees, gasping. The interface flickered. Code, memory fragment recovered. Fragment 1, the first collapse. Stability 54%, now down to 51%. Chrono energy 61. 51%. This world was unraveling faster. I pressed my hand to my forehead, trying to steady my breathing. I caused the first collapse, I whispered. I triggered the failsafe. The swamp hummed softly. The mist swirled. A faint whisper drifted through the air. Find the next fracture. I stood slowly. Yeah, I muttered. I figured. I took a step forward. The ground trembled. The mist thickened. Something moved in the distance. Not the Titan, not a creature, not an echo. Something new. Something fast. The interface flashed red. Code, warning, Temporal Hunter detected. Distance 320 meters. Threat level extreme. Recommendation, run. I tightened my grip on the shard. Of course. We get to run again, I sighed, because this day just wasn't getting bad enough already. So I ran, and the swamp roared behind me, and the hunter, of course, followed. The Temporal Hunter moved like nothing I've ever seen, though. Not heavy like the Titan, and not glitching like the shadow creatures, nor drifting like the echoes. This one was fast, precise, and silent. The swamp barely reacted to its movements. There was no ripples, no tremors, no warning, just the faint distortion of the mist bending around, something that shouldn't exist. And I sprinted through the mucky boots, the muck, my boots slipping, lungs burning. The mist tore past me in the streak of light, and the trees blurred, and my heartbeat drowned out everything else. The interface flickered violently. Code, Temporal Hunter Pursuit, distance 280, 240, 190 meters. Threat level extreme. Chrono energy 61. I pushed harder. The swamp shifted beneath my feet. The terrain changed again, rearranging, rewriting itself. The world was reacting to the hunter's presence. Or maybe to mine, maybe? The branch snapped behind me. I did not look back. I vaulted over a fallen trunk, splashed through a shallow pool, ducked under a curtain of glowing fungus, and the mist thickened, swirling like a living thing trying to hide me or trap me. The hunter's footsteps were still silent, but the air behind me felt wrong, heavy, pressurized, like something was bending reality with each step. I stumbled onto the patch of dry ground, a rare island in the swamp, and the earth here was cracked, scorched as if lightning had struck repeatedly. A good place to die, I guess. But I kept running. The mist parted suddenly, revealing a massive tree, twisted, ancient, its bark glowing faintly with blue veins. Its roots formed a natural archway pulsing with light. A chrono tree? The interface flickered. Code, Chrono Tree detected. Energy signature stable. Moderate shelter. Shelter. Well, I'll take it. I sprinted toward the archway. A blur of movement cut across my peripheral vision. I dove instinctively. A razor thin line of disordered air sliced through the space where my head had been. The tree behind me split open with a deafening crack. Sap sprang like blood. I rolled, mud splattered across my face, and the hunter stepped into view. My breath caught. Wasn't a creature. Wasn't a person. Wasn't anything I had a name for either, though. Its body was humanoid, but it stretched, elongated limbs, joints bending at impossible angles, its skin smooth but also metallic, reflecting the swamp like a warped mirror. Its face was featureless, except for two glowing slits where eyes should be. Its movements were too smooth, too precise, too intentional. A machine? A construct? A weapon? Interface glitched violently. Code, Temporal Hunter. Origin unknown. Purpose termination. Target Jax Calder. Termination? Great. This hunter tilted its head, studying me with those glowing slits. Its body flicked, not glitching, but shifting between positions, faster than my eyes could track. I raised the metal shard. Stay back. The hunter didn't react. Didn't need to. It moved. A blur of motion, a rush of air, a flash of light. I barely had time to throw myself sideways, and the ground where I'd been standing erupted into a burst of just blue sparks. Scrambled to my feet, heart pounding. Okay, I gasped. New plan. I sprinted toward the chrono tree. The hunter followed, silent, relentless, closing the distance with impossible speed, and the interface flashed. Code Chrono Pulse available. Energy cost 20. Chances of success low. Well, it was still better than 0. I skidded to a stop, turned, and thrust my hand forward. Activate. Blue light exploded outward into a shockwave. The swamp rimpled, the air cracked. The hunter staggered, barely, its form flickering for a split second. The interface updated. Code Chrono Pulse Impact Minimal. Entity Stability 100 down to 94%. Only 6%. You've got to be kidding me. The hunter straightened. It's blurred. It appeared in front of me. I swung the shard. It caught my wrist mid-swing. Cold, sharp up my arm. Not physical cold, but something deeper. Like my bones were freezing. Like my memories were freezing. The interface glitched violently. Code, warning, temporal drain detected. Memory integrity compromised. I screamed, trying to pull away. And the hunter gripped. Its grip tightened. My vision blurred. My thoughts twisted and my memories flickered. Faces I don't recognize, places I'd never seen, voices calling my name, and then a flash. The memory rift, the core exploding, the woman grabbing my arm, her voice shouting, "Jax, don't let it take you." I snapped back. A surge of energy erupted from my chest. Not a pulse, not an instinct, something raw and uncontrollable. The hunter was thrown backwards, skidding across the swamp. I collapsed to my knees, gasping. The interface flickered. Code unknown chrono reaction. Energy cost severe. Chrono energy 61 to 29. Core integrity 89% to 82%. The hunter rose. Its head tilted. It was analyzing me, learning, trying to adapt. I staggered to my feet, vision swimming. The Chrono Tree pulsed behind me, its roots glowing brighter, its bark humming with energy. A whisper drifted through the tree. Inside. I didn't question it. I ran towards the archway. The hunter blurred. I drove through the roots, light exploding around me. The world twisted, and the swamp vanished, and I fell into the darkness. I didn't hit the ground, though. I expected mud, water, roots, pain. Instead, I fell through weightless darkness, cold, silent, endless, and my body twisted like it was suspended in a void that felt too still to be real. Then the darkness cracked. A thin line of white light split the void beneath me, widening like a tearing seam. I dropped, though, and landed on metal, hard, and the impact knocked the breath out of me. I rolled onto my back, gasping, blinking against the sudden brightness. It wasn't the swamp anymore. It was like a facility, a real one. Metal floors, bright overhead lights, faint hum of vibrating through the walls, and I pushed myself upright, winching. The interface flickered. Code, location unknown. Temporal layer fragmented. Stability 51%. Chrono energy 29. Core integrity 82%. Fragmented. That wasn't good. I scanned the corridor. It stretched in both directions, long, sterile, lined with doors. Some were sealed, some hung open, wires spilling out like exposed veins, and a faint alarm pulsed in the distance. Slow, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. I stood slowly, gripping the shard. Okay, where the heck am I now? A whisper drifted through the corridor. Home. I froze. That voice wasn't the swamp's whisper, nor the echo's whisper, and definitely not the violet pool's whisper. This one was more familiar, human. I turned slowly. A figure stood at the far end of the corridor, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a dark coat. His face was shadowed, though, but I knew the silhouette. My breath caught. No. He stepped forward, light hitting his face, and I stared at myself. Not the younger version from the memory rift. Not a distorted echo. Not a glitch. Me. Same age, same face, same scars. But his eyes glowed faintly blue. He stopped a few feet away, studying me with a calm, almost clinical expression. "You made it," he said. My voice, my tone, my Candace. I tightened my grip on the shard. "What are you?" He tilted his head slightly. "A possibility." I swallowed hard. "That doesn't answer anything." He smiled family. It answers everything. I stepped closer. I, s- he stepped, er, he stepped closer. I stepped back. He raised a hand, not threatening but steady. You're close, Jax. Closer than you've ever been. But you're running out of time. Interface flickered violently. Code, warning, temporal paradox detected. Identity conflict severe. I clutched my jaw. Are you from another reset? He shook his head. No, I'm from the same one. My stomach dropped. That's impossible. He smiled again, tired and sad. Everything here is impossible. The corridor trembled. Lights flickered. A deep rumble echoed through the facility, the same rumble from the core collapse. And he looked toward the ceiling. It started again. What is? He turned back to me. The fracture. The point where everything breaks. The moment you keep trying to fix. I shook my head. I don't remember any of this. You will. He stepped closer. I didn't move. You triggered the first collapse, he said softly, but you didn't cause the resets. I frowned. What does that even mean? He leaned in slightly. You're the one breaking the world, Jax. He paused. You're the one holding it together, not breaking it. The corridor shook violently. Sparks rained from the ceiling and the light dimmed. He grabbed my shoulder, firm, steady, real. You need to find the next fracture before the hunter does. I swallowed hard. Why is it even after me? Yes, I hesitated, and then, because you're the only version of you that survived long enough to matter. The floor cracked, and the blinding white light tore through the corridor. He shoved me backward. Go. The light swallowed him. The world shattered, and I fell again. Through light, through darkness, through memory, and then I hit the ground. Mud splashed up my arms, and the swamp was back. The mist swirled violently, reacting to the fracture. The interface flickered. Code, memory fragment recovered. Fragment 2, the paradox. Stability 51% down to 47%. Directive updated. Locate the next fracture. 47%. So the world was dying, and I had to push myself upright, shaking, of course, and the swamp hummed, the mist thickened, a distant roar echoed, not the Titan, not the hunter, something deeper, like something was waking up, and I tightened my grip on the shard. Next fracture. That's my next step, right? I took a step forward. The ground trembled, the mist parted, and the temporal hunter stepped into view, closer than ever, its glowing eyes locked on me. It didn't move, it didn't attack, it just stared, like it knew something had changed, like I was waiting. The interface flashed red. Code, Temporal Hunter, adapting. Threat level, critical. I excelled slowly. Yeah, that sounds about right. This officially sucks. The hunter tilted its head. The world hummed, and the next fracture pulsed somewhere in the distance, calling me forward.